The world is currently in debt of more than $300 trillion. Think about it. This is 3 times more than the annual income of the whole world. America alone is in debt of $36 trillion. The first question that comes to mind after hearing such a big number is, if every country is in debt, then who is to be given this money? Who is it that is lending to such big countries? It's a simple question. But the answer to it is just as complicated. Because in today's world, debt doesn't run in straight lines. It goes round and round. One country to another, another to another, and then it comes back to the first country. People often point to China. They say that China has given America the biggest debt. Yes, China has bonds of $750 billion with America. But the truth is that China itself is in debt of more than $18 trillion. And this debt is with the banks of China. The same banks that buy bonds from America. That is, China is lending to America. America is taking a loan from China. And both banks buy bonds from each other. But what are these bonds? In simple terms, a bond is a kind of written promise. The government or the company takes money from you and gives you a document in which it is written that after so many years, we will return your money with interest. This is called a bond. It is also an investment and a means of funding for the government. Now think about it. This is the story of only 2 countries. Every country in the world is taking a loan and giving a loan. This whole system is like a spinning wheel. And it's not just about money. It's the engine of the world's economic growth. But how did all this start? Actually, a loan is not a new thing. It is as old as the history of humans. When there were no coins, people used to lend things on credit. Take it now and return it after the harvest. It was that simple. Gradually, this loan became a large-scale loan for the kings and emperors. When wars were to be fought, palaces were to be built, and money was not collected from taxes. For the first time, bonds were sold to the public. People gave money to the government and in return, they were given a piece of paper. A promise that after a few years, the government would return both money and interest. This is where the modern loan started. Then came the 2 world wars, and then came the Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944, which made the US dollar the backbone of the entire world's financial system. But as the expenses increased, gold started to run out. And in 1971, the US abolished the gold standard. Now, the dollar is only based on trust, not on any solid thing. This is when the real storm of loans began. Now, the governments could print money for any work, to build schools, repair roads, or even to get out of the recession. Today, if the US is in debt, then 70% of its debt is borne by its citizens, banks, and companies. That is, the government takes money from the public, promises that in a few years, it will return with interest. People deposit money in the bank buys bonds from the money, and thus, the government gets a loan. Similarly, this is the case in India, Europe, and Japan. The country takes money from its people, banks, or from other countries. Insurance companies, pension funds, mutual funds, all these loans are given to the governments, because they also want a trustworthy investment. That is why when we say that the world is in debt of $300 trillion, then it is also true that this money is in the hands of the people, companies, and banks of the world. So, in reality, all this debt is a net, which ties the countries, banks, and citizens together. Now the question arises, is it necessary to take a loan? Can a country function without a loan? Wait a minute, because a loan is not just bad. In reality, the loan taken correctly is the most important tool for the country's development. Assume that the government does not have money right now, but it wants to start a school, hospital, road, or railway project. Now that project will be profitable in many years, but it needs money immediately. So the government can work with a loan, and gradually earn from the tax and return that money. This is called productive debt, such a loan that in the future gives both earnings and development to the country. For example, Japan, which has the highest debt in the world compared to GDP, but the roads, trains, technology, and the quality of life of the people, no one can say that the country is drowning. Because most of their debt is with their citizens and banks. And they have invested in infrastructure, innovation, and growth through loans. India also took a good loan in the years after COVID, which invested in projects such as infrastructure and Digital India. And in return, GDP growth went up rapidly. So the question is not whether the loan is good or bad. The question is whether the loan was used properly. If the government takes a loan and invests it in productive places, such as schools, roads, improving the business environment, then it can rapidly increase the country's economy. But if the same money is spent on subsidies, election freebies, or loss-making schemes, then the country keeps paying interest, but it's of no use. And then, the debt becomes a burden. The second aspect of the loan is that it forms a bond of trust between the people and the government. Think about it. When a common citizen buys a government bond, it is actually deep. I have faith in my country that it will return my money. And this faith keeps the entire economy alive. But if this faith is broken, like what happened in Sri Lanka or Argentina, then the country can't repay the loan. The dollar runs out, and the people have to bear the cost and poverty. That's why the world's economy is based on a delicate balance. Taking too many loans is dangerous, and even if you don't take any loans, the country's speed slows down. That's why you need smart debt. The kind of debt that can be taken with a clear mind. Spend it on planning, and benefit the generations to come. Today's modern world is based on only one thought: trust. Trust that if I lend money today, I'll get it back tomorrow. Trust that the governments will keep their promises. And trust that the entire system will keep running. But as the debt keeps increasing, questions keep arising. Will this trust always be there? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Friends, I hope that you got a lot of information from this video. To watch more such interesting videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also, click on the bell icon, which is present next to the subscription button, so that you can get the notification of all the new videos of this channel. Like and share the video. Take good care of yourself. Goodbye.